Picture this: you're in a small, quiet Midwestern town, the kind of place where people leave their doors unlocked, where everybody knows everybody. And then a phone call. A chilling voice on the other end says, "You better run." It sounds like an urban legend, right? But behind that voice was a man who would go down in history as one of the most disturbing figures America has ever seen. His name, Ed Gein, the butcher of Plainfield. I'm Sarah and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to take a deeper look into Ed Gein's life. What really happened in Plainfield, the horrors that shocked the world, and how his story inspired some of the most terrifying characters in horror history. Let's get into it. Ed Gein was born on August 27, 1906, in La Crosse County, Wisconsin. From the very start, his life was far from normal. His father, George, was a violent alcoholic. His mother, Augusta, was the opposite: strict, fanatically religious, and emotionally abusive. She drilled into young Ed and his brother Henry that women were sinful, corrupt, and the root of all evil. The only exceptions, she claimed, were herself and Virgin Mary. And Ed worshipped her. He clung to her every word. She isolated him from the outside world, and when she died in 1945, it shattered him. That was the moment his already fragile mind began its descent. Ed was left completely alone, desperate to keep his mother alive, not just in memory, but physically. Neighbors described Ed as odd but harmless, a quiet handyman, always willing to fix a roof or babysit for a neighbor. Nobody suspected that inside he was slowly losing his grip on reality. See, Ed's childhood trauma turned into obsession. He missed his mother so much that he started reading pulp magazines about death, cannibalism, and even experiments with human body. Soon, reading wasn't enough. He wanted to touch, to create, to bring back his mother in some form. And so he began visiting cemeteries at night, digging up freshly buried women who reminded him of Augusta. He would take their remains home, not for trophies, but for a project, his project. Ed saw him as playing what he called a sort of game, a ritual. He wasn't a hunter of the living at first, he was a collector of the dead. In his farmhouse, police later discovered the results: bowls made from skulls, chairs upholstered with human skin, masks made of faces, and even a belt stitched together from nipples. Yes, you heard that right. But the darkest part, Ed was trying to create a woman suit, something he could wear, so that he could quite literally become his mother again, step into her skin, relive her presence. For him, it wasn't murder, it was resurrection. The game was never about the victims, it was always about Augusta. And this is where the infamous phone call comes in. One woman in Plainfield reported getting a call late one night. A man's voice whispered, "You better run," then silence. At the time, it was brushed off as a prank, but a week later, the woman disappeared. Her name was Bernice Warden, a local hardware store owner. She was last seen working in a shop. When police investigated, they found a receipt written up for antifreeze. The last customer was Ed Gein. When they arrived at his farm, they were not prepared for what they were about to see. Police entered the Gein farmhouse on November 16, 1957, and what they found was something out of a nightmare. In a shed, they found Bernice Warden's body, headless, hanging upside down, gutted like a deer. Inside the house was even worse: human skulls on the bedposts, masks made from skin, a lampshade stitched together from human flesh, and then the woman suit. Pieces of skin carefully sewn together like some kind of grotesque costume. Detectives said it was the most horrifying scene they had ever walked into. Hollywood horror was born that night in Plainfield. Ed was arrested immediately. During questioning, he calmly admitted to everything, digging up bodies, crafting his macabre furniture, and yes, murdering at least two women. He showed no real anger, no malice, just a kind of childlike matter of factness. In 1958, he was declared legally insane and sent to a psychiatric institution instead of prison. He spent the rest of his life there, reportedly quiet, polite, even helpful to staff, almost like the kindly handyman neighbors once thought he was. But everyone knew what lurked beneath that gentle exterior. Ed Gein died in 1984, but his legacy is everywhere. He inspired Norman Bates in Psycho, Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs. His crimes left a mark not just on Plainfield, but on the entire history of horror. And yet, when you strip away the Hollywood legends, what you're left with is a broken man, a boy who never escaped his mother's grip. A man tried to stitch together the past, and in doing so, created a nightmare that still chills us today. Ed Gein's story is one of the darkest chapters in American history. It shows us how trauma, obsession, and isolation can twist a person's mind into something truly horrifying. But at the end of the day, what happened in Plainfield is more than just a story. It's a reminder of how real life events can inspire some of the darkest characters we see in horror movies. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to support me and help grow this channel. And I'll see you in the next one.